All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect, pushing this word in truth and in sincerity, with the hope of receiving mercy of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahushai is the name of His only begotten Son. You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites according to the prophecies that are written in the Scriptures. So I want to make it known that the RFID microchip is the mark of the beast. The miracle drug is the precursor to the mark of the beast. Yahushai, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus, is about to make his return upon the earth to deliver his elect and to pour out judgment, as it is written. So I want to run this clip, and last will bring out some edifying precept dealing with the coming famine and the plagues that Yahweh Yahushai have foretold that he's going to send upon the earth. So I want to just jump straight into this. This is 2 Ezra 15, verse 5. Behold, this is 2 Ezra 15, verse 5. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness had exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their earthful works are fulfilled. So right now, we're in the time in which we're going to see more chaotic events that take place upon the earth, yo. So let's run this clip.
My friends, this story of the atmospheric river that brought tremendous flooding to parts of British Columbia is really one of nested catastrophes, which is to say, this is not just a problem for the folks on the ground there who've been flooded out, experienced loss of life, whose grocery stores are running out of food, where farmers were working tirelessly through the night to try and evacuate their livestock out of the way of these floods, which is no small feat given that, as you can read here, Fraser Valley farmers supply 50% of British Columbia's eggs, chicken, and dairy. So this is going to have a lasting impact to British Columbia's food supply. But stepping back, with the demolition, effectively, of the highways and the rail service that connects Vancouver to the rest of Canada, and now the complete closure of the Port of Vancouver, one of the few deep water ports in Canada, and indeed the biggest one, that supplies roughly a third of Canadian imports and exports. This is something that is going to have a catastrophic effect across the entire world. That's easy to understand when we look at some of the data today indicating that Canada and, of course, the United States together are like the number 1 and 2 exporters of grains. And so with the rest of the ports on the West Coast already being tremendously congested, as we've been talking about since the middle of 2020, this really feels like we're witnessing with this event the point of impact of the slow motion train wreck that is the supply chain cascading failure. Let's talk about that and look at some data and talk about why it's not going to be a quick fix to get that rail service back running, transporting the grains that have just been harvested from Canada out to the rest of the world, and that spells real problems for everyone. I'm Christian, and this is the Ice Age Farmer broadcast. And I don't mean in any way to diminish the catastrophe that's happening there on the ground. Everything I just said is real, that's actually happening. There's plenty of people reporting on that. So I want to focus instead on this broader impact that's not being discussed yet, but we need to understand. So here from American Shipper, flooding has cut off the Port of Vancouver rail service. We can expect terminal disruptions, vessel delays, and so forth. Quote, significant portions of the Canadian National Rail and Canadian Pacific Rail lines serving the port, Canada's largest port, have been shut down after heavy rain pounded the province in the Pacific Northwest. The consequences...
This is 2 Ezra 15. I'm going to start at verse 13, straight to the point. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting and the hail, and with a fearful constellation. And all these things we see transpire is the Lord's doing, because to enough people don't understand that this is evil the Lord that bring upon the earth, as it is written in, I want to get this from Amos. This is Amos 3, verse 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city, and Yahweh had not done it? So the Lord had bring forth this evil, and it will get worse and worse as the days go by.
Likely will be felt throughout the Canadian supply chain, and indeed the world, adding delays for shipments of everything from containers to bulk commodities. Now, what does it mean to shut down the Port of Vancouver? Let's read from their website to get a sense for what exactly they're doing. The Port of Vancouver, Canada's largest port, is about the same size as the next largest 5 Canadian ports combined. It's the most diversified range of cargo in North America, handling bulk, containers, break bulk, liquid bulk, automobiles, and cruise. The port handles 1 of every $3 of Canada's trade in goods outside North America. It's a third of their economy of what's supposed to be getting out. And yes, that's grains, especially at this time of year, but it's not just grains and foods. It's also automobiles that are supposed to be coming in, and tractor parts, agricultural equipment, livestock feed, chemicals and fertilizers. All of these things that we need to keep our way of life going are no longer coming in. And as far as the grains getting out, it's worth noting that the US and Canada are the number 2 and 3 exporters of wheat. So the rest of the world needs to take note that a third of Canada's 14% of the world's exported wheat has just stopped. This is stopped for now.
And that's one of the things that we are saying. You see me? Because right now, to you women out there are so proud, you know, what not gonna do in those times. The scripture says to a man are gonna be important in that time, and I'm talking about the man of the Lord. Them are gonna be a covering from the plagues and the chaos we're gonna consume the earth, yo. And you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you women of the tribes, you see me, when you're very prideful, yo. Especially when you see us out there on the highways and the byways, and the Lord has stretched forth his hands and bidding you to the marriage, yo. And skin up in the face and walk past, not knowing how dark of a times we're in, yo. The scriptures talk about redeeming the times because the days are evil. Seek the Lord before the evil days draw nigh. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. And all those 3 scriptures I'm just quote represent now, yo. Now is the time to seek the Lord more than ever before, yo. Because we are in the beginning of sorrows, and as I say, the time will get worse and worse as the days go by. So this is Isaiah 32 verse 9. Arise, rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women. For the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Because normally, so you could go to them supermarkets. You see me? There are various supermarkets around the world. You know, not knowing, say, at a point the supply chain will get slowed down. Not knowing that Yahweh Shim Yahushai has sent forth the famine upon the land, and him having vessel upon the earth, which is Esau, Edom, and carry out his will. You know? None of them can see past what take place before them, you know. Them not see unto the times that are ahead. That's why the scripture mention of the prudent men. Foresee the evil and hide it themselves, yo. And that what we are doing through the Spirit, yo. Calling upon the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai for deliverance from the things that shall shortly come to pass, and the strength and the spirit to endure through these difficult times, yo. Verse 11. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant field, for the fruitful vine. And right now, as you can see, enough people now ball. Yet, them start make a look of nice, yes, but it's going to get worse as the days go by.
What is 4% of the world's wheat has stopped moving this week. It's a mind-numbing figure to just imagine. Nearly 5% of the wheat of the world just got held up. It's paused for now. And it's not just the rail service. Like I said, mudslides have closed, as the Canadian authorities have phrased it, all practical routes into and out of that area. All highways from the lower mainland into the British Columbia interior are closed, meaning truck traffic as well, not just the rails, can't get to the port. You can see here how that's the case, and some of these highways are closed in ways that don't look like it's going to be a quick fix. You get a sense for that here. The bridge is quite literally out, and that's not going to be a quick repair, nor indeed will the rails. This is really going to be a question of how quickly they can restore service, and those two rail lines are...
So as you can see, and that way see it take place there, the Lord will bring forth various things right around the world, affect various economies right around the world, because the of China as this big world power, which is supposed to be the next world power, which is a vain imagination. If they are in debt, yo, you need to ask yourself who all these countries are in debt to, and what type of power those people wield. So this was the final that I want to say. Kalal, Yahweh,